Hey, I'm John. Welcome back to Mr. G's Workbench. We're going to wrap up the flanker build today. We're going to start out with a quick show of my fix for the missing axles on the main landing gear legs. And then we're just going to move right into a quick evaluation of the kit, the build, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'll give it a final score, and we'll wrap this build up, all right? Here we go. All right, here's one of the infamous gear legs with no axle. So here's my my solution. Dug through my styrene, found some styrene rod that matched the diameter of the wheel. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to take a punch. I'm going to locate the center of this. There's two sides to this. The other side has this dimple in it, so that's obviously not the side you want to drill. Go in here, locate the center, mark it with the punch. Make it easier for you to drill through it, and then you just build up through the range of drills. Don't drill through it. You got to kind of keep an eye on the depth of the hole. Then we're going to switch to the next bigger size bit that we're going to use. And then all you do is you just keep gently expanding that hole. Just increasing the diameter hopefully without destroying the outside of it. We're just going to use some thick, like really thick CA and attach that. So now I'm going to come in. I'm just going to swab the inside of this crazy with this thick CA that I use, MaxiCure. Sorry, it's a little hard to get everything in. Get that in there. Line it up in all directions. Like I said, just cover the outside of it. See here, I mean, since I kind of tore it up a little, I'm just going to cover it in CA, and then I can go back and sand it, and the CA will act as a filler. So we've got it lined up that way. It's perpendicular to the main axle. Looks to be right. To my eye, it's right in all directions. And here's the other one that I did. And what we'll do is, when the time comes, we just trim those axles back to accommodate the tires, and we're good to go. We should never have to do that kind of work, not on an $80 kit. So that's the solution, and your mileage may vary, but I think that's the universal way to fix that. So let's move on. Time for another Mr. G's handy dandy warnings. We're back at step 23. Now that we've finished assembling the fuselage, I'm trying to assemble the gear legs. So this is going to ultimately be the right gear leg. And I'm going to show you a photo so you can see this up close of C52, which is this kind of roundish hole piece that fits into C13, which is the top of the right gear leg. Now that C52 is ultimately going to wind up connected to the gear bay, which I'll show you here in another close-up photo. But rather than just have one solid way of doing it, there's no way to connect C52 to the gear leg where it'll be ready for installation into the fuselage. I tried installing it into the fuselage, and then I was going to hook the gear leg onto it, and I'm not having any luck doing that. Then we have part C51. We have part C51, which protrudes from the gear leg as well. And I think there's only one way to put it on. I slotted it in, but another problem I had with trying to install it is that that C51 is supposed to attach to the fuselage, and it's not lined up properly. So now I got to try and disassemble everything and reassemble it on the fuselage to get everything to line up. So if you're building this kit, do not install C52, do not install C51. Do the rest of the gear leg first. When you're ready to install the gear leg onto the fuselage, then you can install the rest of it. So the painting and weathering of the plane is done. I've popped the canopy off. It's still masked. And now I've gone ahead and masked the inside. And you can see there's some detail molded onto the inside of the canopy. Kudos to Kitty Hawk for doing that. Now I've got to add this part in over here. And that is H14 and C2. And that'll be, yeah, buddy. And that'll be holding open the canopy. So as a side note, I'll put up some pictures of some parts that didn't make it all the way through the process. There's some what look like defogger pipes. They're parts H15 and H1. And I'll show you close-ups of those. But here they are. Again, and this is me going in knowing how fragile Kitty Hawk makes these thin parts. Could not get these parts off the sprue without breaking them. This one was significantly broken. This pipe is significantly warped over here. Doesn't want to sit within the cockpit properly because of the warp. So I'm not using it because it looks awful. Then there was this part, which is H8. And that's H8 and H6, and that's supposed to sit on the inside of this canopy structure. Again, you know, this is with me eyes wide open, still having an issue with the parts breaking because they've made these thin parts with these thick attachment points to the parts trees. Can't get it off. So again, that part, as nice as it might have been, won't be going on. Kitty Hawk was also nice enough to give you injection molded rear view mirrors. I'll be installing those. So let me get that done and I'm going to show you how it goes. So the build is done. I'm wrapping up the Su-30MK. Let me just start out by saying I apologize for not including more in progress, video as I went along. I don't have a lot of the kind of equipment I need to be able to film stuff as I'm working on the kit, where it's actually visible and not blurry or out of focus. I've had a couple of comments about that, and I get it. So I'm working on trying to get something so I can give you a better view of the workbench and actually include more video of the process. So your comments have been heard, and I'm working on it. In terms of the kit itself, I'm going to show you some close-ups as we go along. They'll pop up as we discuss. So overall, not a fun build. Kitty Hawk tends to have great subject selection, and then they're done in by just poor execution in terms of kit engineering and the way they design the kit to go together. This was another one where that was an issue. The MiG-25 had its issues as well. So, let's go down the line. The first thing was, if you remember back, I said I wasn't even going to try to figure out how much nose weight was going to go in because the nose gear was so fragile. I didn't put any weight in, and I lucked out, and the kit actually sits on its wheels without any nose weight. So if you're going to build the kit, you don't need to put any nose weight in, but maybe just a little bit, just to be sure. I'm going to start with the negatives because I'd like to end with the positives of the kit. So my first negative is, it's the same negative that you'll hear time and time again for Kitty Hawk. It's the instruction sheet. They can be vague at times. The parts locating is terrible. I'm going to show you an example here. If you can tell me where the main gear parts go into the gear bay, good luck, because they give you a 3/4 view diagram. It's offset, you can't see anything. Another issue they seem to have is they'll be showing you a part of the assembly, and they'll give it to you from one perspective, and in the next step you're still working on the same area, and now they reverse the perspective, and it's completely confusing. I'm not gonna, that doesn't mean it can't be, used properly. It's just that why can't you just give explicit instructions, like, show me a close-up of where a part goes. Don't give me a general vague idea. The decals, there were 2 sheets of decals in the kit. One was the markings, the national markings and stuff specific to each version. They're all bunched together on the sheet. So when you go to, like when I was cutting the 5s out for the tail markings, you had to work around other decals and stuff. I've seen a couple of decal sheets where decals get clustered together, but not to this degree. I mean, literally right next to each other. The colors weren't correct. The Venezuelan markings in particular, the instead of dark blue for the flags and for the national insignia on the wings, Kitty Hawk used black. It's not correct. It doesn't even look right. That was bad. The decals, just like on the MiG-25, don't react to setting solution particularly well. I wound up, like I said, when I did the tails to put the 5s on and the anniversary markings, I wound up having to use a lot of setting solution, and then I would go, as soon as I wet the decal down with the setting solution, I'd go hit it with a hair dryer. It kind of works, but you're also taking a chance on deforming the parts when you do that. So, if you're going to build this, if you're building this, then by all means, I highly recommend getting a decal sheet, either from Caracal Decals has an SU-30 sheet, or Begamot probably has an SU-30 sheet. I'm fairly certain they have one just for flankers. So I would go that way. I don't get paid by them, and I don't get decals from them. I wouldn't mind if you want to send them to me. I'm not going to complain. But if you're going to build the kit, don't use the kit decals. Also, all of the yellow stencils on the second sheet, they're translucent. They're useless. They're almost invisible once you go to put them on a gray or a dark colored background. They're not even worth applying. There's like 60 or 70 of them at least, and they're completely useless. I wound up using just the red ones that you'll see like around the nose area, because they were the only ones that you can actually see once you put them on. The next issue I had was the photo etched antennas, the radio antennas. They're 3-prong antennas that are underneath the nose and back on top of the tail. Instead of just doing like Eduard does, where they give you one like kind of E-shaped piece for the antenna, Kitty Hawk gave you each individual tine of the antenna separately. I mean, they're almost microscopic, and you have to apply each one individually. Like, no, there's no reason for that. So the rest of the photo etch was usable, but I'm sure a better alternative would have been nice. The next problem I had, and it's the same problem, again, these are consistent problems with Kitty Hawk, very thin, fine parts, which are spectacular to look at on the runners, but when you go to take them off the runners, they're too delicate because they're attached with very thick connections to the main runners on the sprues. I broke the defroster pipes for the cockpit broke. The prop for the canopy broke when I went to cut it off. There were a couple other parts. Some of the small antennas, if you're not careful, you'll break them as well. I just don't think that they're, doing things the way they could be doing. I mean, they designed the kit, and then just the execution turns awful. Another problem which carries over from kit to kit is this obsession Kitty Hawk has with open things, open bays. I finally indulged him on this one because I was just tired of fighting with everything. So I opened up the air brake on the back, I opened the parachute pack, I opened, and I opened one of the engine access bays. But the nose I was not going to open. There was no point in doing it. If I wanted to show something in full, repair state, I guess that would be great. They don't give you any positive locating points to connect the nose and the radar harness, for lack of a better word, to get everything to line up well. I wound up with significant, you can still see the shadows where I sanded and fix everything to make it look solid again. And I wasn't happy with it at all. It's very unsatisfying to go through all that work, and if you don't do it their way, you know, good luck. The last thing, which seems to be a recent decision by Kitty Hawk, there are no weapons in the kit at all. Contrast that to, I did the Su-35, and I keep referring back to it. The Su-35 came with four sprues, you know, 4 full sprues of weapons, to the point where they don't even tell you what half of them are. Here they give you none. You're lucky they give you pylons, and I hunted down the rest of the pylons, and the rest of the pylons I used are not referred to on the instructions, and I had to find them. It looks like on these newer kits, Kitty Hawk has stopped giving you weapons. They probably want you to buy, you know, the weapons separately. If you're going to buy weapons separately, don't buy the Kitty Hawk ones. In my honest opinion, they're terrible. I'm pretty sure Great Wall Hobby or somebody else was doing Russian weapons. Buy those, because they're going to be much more better detailed. They're going to be slide molded. The idea that you're going to pay $70 or $80 for this kit and not get weapons with it is a little annoying. I'll leave that as my last negative. First positive point is the parts fit overall. Aside from the issues with the open bays, the rest of the parts fit together pretty well. The top and bottom halves of the fuselage, once I figured out what I had done wrong with the cockpit, everything literally snapped into place. So the fit overall is good. It's just that fit on those certain things that, you know, that were designed to be left open when they shouldn't be. So aside from that, the cockpit, the rest of the body went together well. The only other place I had issues with was the tails. If they would have just used a little bit better design, kind of like the way Great Wall Hobby did their Su-35 tails, it probably would have looked a lot nicer. The cockpit detail was also nice. For what you're getting in the kit, I think the detail is nice. The clear parts were good. I was very impressed with the detail molded on both sides of the canopy. It looks good, and my only problems were paint related, and that was on me. That's user error, so that's not them. The next thing was the injection molded exhausts on this kit were actually good. I think they look nice. They fit perfectly. The insides of the exhausts look good, so I was very happy with that. The last thing I thought was good was there was a great selection of marking schemes, which is one of Kitty Hawk's hallmarks, is they managed to pick good markings. They just need to execute them better. Honestly, that's the biggest downfall to that. And you know, it was good that I did this one so that I kind of really jumped in the deep end with their decals. If I would have done one of the other schemes, I probably wouldn't have noticed as much in terms of the bad quality. So we'll leave it at that. Overall, to stick with the Kitmaker method of rating the kit, overall I'm going to give the kit a 76. It's, you know, it's certainly better than the MiG-25 was. It's better than a lot of Kitty Hawk's earlier jets. You can see that they've kind of learned from some of their mistakes, but other ones they continue to make regardless. I think the biggest problem is they don't take feedback, so it is what it is. But just as a benchmark, I paid $72 with free shipping to get the Su-35 kit. You got the plain 4 sprues of weapons, and they included their Russian weapon carts, which is one of them was the cart I used for to put the radar unit on. This one, you got just the plain and nothing else, and it's the same price. So not good value to me. And like I said, if you're going to build this kit, be sure to get aftermarket decals. You know, it has a lot of potential. It's just poor execution. And again, my thanks to Jim at Kitmaker for providing the kit. And I'm grateful to him for doing it. And, you know, hopefully the next time we'll have better news. So that's that for the flanker. Next is some housekeeping for the channel. I just like to keep you guys up to date. If you recall, the winner of the 100 plus subscriber giveaway with Stephen Gower in Canada. Here's a picture of him and his crew with the trumpeter 1/350th scale USS Independence, since he picked naval. Stephen, I hope you enjoy the kit, and I hope you'll let me take a look at it when you're done. We're at 198 subscribers as of today, with close to 7,000 views. I really appreciate that. It's mind-blowing to me that anybody would even watch me for 5 minutes, but thank you very much anyway. I appreciate your support through your subscribing. We're not monetized here, so everything you see, it's either out of my pocket or a generous contribution from Kitmaker. If anybody out there wants to send me anything, you can email me at mrgsworkbench@gmail.com. So we're at 198 subscribers, close to 7,000 views. Thank you very much. Most of our viewers are in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Russia. A lot of viewers in Asia as well. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I can't say that enough. And speaking of subscribers, if you're not subscribing to me, why not? I'm a decent guy. This way you'll get notifications whenever I put out a new video. And if you have anything to say, feel free to contribute. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down, but leave me a comment. Give me the courtesy of a comment. If you don't like it and you leave me a thumbs down, let me know why. All right? I'm always looking to improve. Next is Instagram. There's my Instagram handle. Be sure to check out my Instagram page. I usually post pictures as I go along, whatever I'm working on. I've also, per requests I've received, I've started a Facebook page, Mr. G's Workbench. Go take a look at it. I've posted a bunch of pictures of some of my older builds there, and as I build new stuff, it'll go there as well, obviously. It's also a place for me to interact with you. If you want to show me something you've built, if you've built the flanker or something else you want to share, post it there. And this way everyone can see it and we can have a discussion about it. I really look forward to seeing, what you guys have to say about some of this stuff. Also, if you have anything specific you want to discuss, if you have a question just for me, you can always email me, mrgsworkbench@gmail.com. Again, let me know what you think of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the little bell, and that lets you know whenever I make a new video, okay? I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Next time should be the first part of the Sherman diorama called Victory Kiss. So I look forward to all you guys stopping in then. Thanks again. Have a good one.